Is Timothy Dalton one of the forgotten Bonds? Did he only get the job because Pierce Brosnan wasn't available at the time? Whatever the reason, I actually haven't seen either of his movies before, so I watched it for the first time to review the clothing for this show. I must say it was quite a good Bond movie, although it held on to some of that dated Roger Moore humour. And there were some excellent scenes in Vienna, and I have a very embarrassing story about my visit to Vienna many years ago. But more on that later. Hi, I'm Michael, and welcome to my channel for the love of suits. If you're new here, we try to find inspiration on how to dress well from the best dressed men on the screen. I drop a new video every Wednesday and shorts throughout the week. Dalton himself had a very different attitude towards Bond suits, as we shall see in this movie. He thought Bond should wear off-the-peg suiting from Bond Street rather than custom-made clothes from Savile Row. He also felt he shouldn't change clothes that often during the movie, was a bit uncooperative with the costume department, and kept items like his neckties low-key. The opening sequence here I find very reminiscent of Pierce Brosnan's first appearance a couple of movies later. It's an action sequence, all dressed in black, in the cover of night or shadow, scaling walls. And the first suit we see him wearing is a tuxedo. I don't know too many Bond movies that have opened with Bond wearing a tuxedo, other than the original Dr. No with James Bond, who was seen first at the baccarat table. His dinner jacket has a wide, satin-faced shawl collar, one button closure, jetted pockets, and no flaps at the back. The trousers have double reverse pleats and a silk black stripe, a white dress shirt with narrow pleats, and a silk satin black bow tie. The black tie outfit comes from tailors Berman's and Nathan's and is actually from a movie he was working on just before he started James Bond. Apparently this scene was supposed to be in a bookstore, but when it was switched to the theatre, Bond had to pull out a tuxedo out of his own wardrobe. And there's a nice detail in the tuxedo jacket when he goes out into the cold weather and is able to close that top button and fasten it. And he's wearing a very nice three-piece grey herringbone suit here. Herringbone is a very common but excellent choice of a pattern for a suit. It takes it a level above being a plain suit, but it's not too flashy, and at a distance it often appears as opposing vertical stripes. Close up, it has a nice detailed herringbone pattern, so named after the shape of a fish's backbone. The suit is from a store called Benjamin Simon and Sons, no longer with us unfortunately, and they're in Leeds, and this is the only time so far that suits have been chosen from outside London. The jacket has notched lapels, and as with all of the trousers in this movie, they have double reverse pleats. Also, the style of suit that Timothy Dalton likes to wear is loose-fitting, with plenty of space in the shoulders and in the trousers. As this suit was bought off the peg at the time, it was relatively cheap for a Bond movie. I would put it about the same price as a low-cost suit supply suit. Timothy Dalton seems to have some kind of disdain for tailor-made high-quality suits. I don't know what's wrong with the man. Not very Bond in my opinion, at least not very movie Bond. I've never read the books. And in this scene we see Timothy Dalton smoking indoors. It seems a little bit incongruous. I know Sean Connery smoked in his movies, particularly in the opening sequence in a casino, but his movies are much more dated. This movie is 1987, it seems quite modern, and it seems a little bit odd to see him smoking indoors. If you're enjoying this video so far, then please hit that like button. And better yet, subscribe and hit the notifications bell. It really helps the channel and I really appreciate it. Also check out our comments section, we have a great community there. And what am I wearing today? I frequently get asked about my suits, so from now on I'm going to briefly describe what I'm wearing. However, if you're not interested, I'm going to chapter this section so you can skip back to the good stuff. I'm wearing one of my favourite suits. It's a chalk striped flannel suit. The fabric is from VBC. I'll try to pronounce their correct name. Vitale Barberis Canonico, I believe it is. Sometimes just called Vitale or VBC for short. It's a really soft and light flannel and can be worn in quite warm weather. I got a three-piece and I got a very nice lining on the inside. It's custom made from my tailor in Shanghai and it's an excellent fabric. If you're not familiar, VBC make a very wide range of fabrics of very high quality and reasonable price. This is a fabulous gun club check sports coat. The last time I saw a good gun club check was in the TV show The Gentleman. It's made with a black, brown, blue and green twill woven check. And he's wearing dark brown flannel trousers to go with it. His suit's quite loose fitting but not terribly oversized. Rumour has it he wasn't too fond of the large shoulders, so he personally pulled the padding out of the shoulders of the jackets. And a classic chalk stripe suit, this one from Ralph Lauren. It's a three-piece navy chalk stripe made in worsted wool. The jacket has wide shoulders, flapped pockets and double vents, and this is one of the suits he pulled the padding out of the shoulders on. The trousers have forward pleats and plain hemmed bottoms, and oddly enough, the vest has 7 buttons. 5 would be normal, 6 would be okay, 7 is a bit overkill. Very old-fashioned. And this is a wonderful grey flannel suit from Paul Smith, a British designer. I've never owned a suit by Paul Smith, but I did have a few colourful shirts in the 90s. It's a narrower fitting suit with soft shoulders, unlike the suits in the rest of the movie. I've always liked Paul Smith's designs, I just can't afford them. And he throws on top of that a navy full-length cashmere coat. A little bit of a departure from the suits for the moment. Here we have a 3/4 length leather jacket specifically made for the movie by Kenzo. And beneath that he has on a beige shirt and a fabulous looking, heavily textured, dark grey crew neck jumper made with Shetland wool. And charcoal grey woolen flannel trousers, of course with pleats. The second dinner suit he wears in the movie is by Lambert Hoffer of Vienna. It's a black worsted double-breasted dinner suit. It has black satin lapels made from a worsted wool with flat pockets and double vents at the back. Quite classic. I do like the description of the lining as a claret coloured lining, but that just basically means it's dark red and expensive. And he wears this tuxedo to the famous Ferris wheel in Vienna that everybody knows about. Everybody except me. 15 years ago, I went on a tour of Europe with my girlfriend. We went through Italy, up to Vienna, and then on to Prague. I was really waiting to get to Prague. It was my favourite city on the list because I was a huge fan of the movie The Third Man, starring Orson Welles. It's a great movie. The climax of the movie takes place in this fabulous Ferris wheel. So of course, when we got to Vienna, my girlfriend suggested we go see the fabulous Ferris wheel in Vienna. And I said, no, that is not the Ferris wheel I want to see. I want to see the one that was in the Third Man movie set in Prague. So we left and we went to Prague. And when I got to Prague, I found out there was no Ferris wheel in Prague at all. Of course, though set in Prague, the Ferris wheel scene was filmed in Vienna. It's my own fault. I should have listened to my girlfriend. And here we have that classic look for hot weather of a beige suit and a white shirt. It's an excellent look, and if you're going to go for this look, I highly recommend you getting a cotton beige suit and a linen white shirt. The more ruffled the shirt is, the better it looks. Other options for going with the beige suit are a light blue shirt, a blue pinstripe shirt, or for going out in the evening, a black shirt also works well with beige. Black and beige go very well together. But your default is going to be a white linen shirt. And back some casual wear with a beige blouse and jacket. He has on underneath a dark blue shirt, which always goes well with beige. However, I feel the light coloured pants are way too close to the jacket. You should have a bit more contrast between your jacket and your trousers if they're not a suit. So are many of you guys out there a Timothy Dalton fan? Like I said, I hadn't even seen the movies till I did this review, but I'm sure he's somebody's favourite Bond. Isn't he? Maybe. Anyway, thank you for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel, and I'll see you next Wednesday with a new video.